Have you been trying to convince yourself that you love something or someone and you just don't? As I'm sitting to open up my channel to bring through any messages that may land for the people who are drawn to watch this video, I keep hearing Tina Turner's song, "What's Love Got to Do with It?" And though I love Tina Turner and I love that song, I know that the whole premise of the song is about, just because there's love doesn't mean like you stay. And so, I don't like getting too much into like people's relationships. This could be related to what you're currently doing for a career or a project that you have been, trying to complete for a while, that you're trying to convince yourself that you love. But there's this message that comes through around, yes, love is part of it, and a really big part of it, and a big rewarding part of it. It's probably what helps sustain everything up until this time. There's more than love that has to be considered. So there's a message coming through around looking at where you are convincing yourself that something is for you, that it may just not be for you. And this may bleed into a message that came through earlier this week when it comes to like letting go of control. And it's kind of like letting go of something. There may be something that you love or once loved that feels surprising to let go of, but you may have to let go of it. I'm seeing it in a lot of different ways. I'm seeing like an offering that you used to have that doesn't feel like it aligns with who you are now. Are you holding on to it because people keep telling you that they love it? Now, don't just go canceling everything because this is the signier sign that you have been asking for. The first thing that comes up is a card around patience. And you can see how, the person depicted in this picture is in contemplation and spiritual sacred contemplation. And that's where the patience is. So it's this, yes, I realize that I'm probably forcing this over here, but I'm not ready to make this shift like a Band-Aid. This is a big decision that has to be made. And I can feel the gravity of a decision that's being made. But there is a calling here for patience. And where can you add sacredness in the decision making that you have to make, so that you know that you're making this decision from not just a practical place or just from the heart, like just from love, just that physical emotion and that emotional place, but also like how spiritually fulfilled you are and how physically fulfilled you are. I think back even to my career, and I always wanted to be a medium, and I ended up being a lot more of a teacher, and I couldn't wait to get out from behind the desk of my corporate job and like go be in the world. But the truth is I'm still at my desk and I'm still behind my desk like for a majority of my career. So I'm still doing what I love. I'm just using this as an example, but like I'm still doing what I love. I still feel like on purpose, but there's certain aspects of what I do that I feel could use some enhancing. So that's also the message that's coming through. It's like it doesn't have to be like completely scrapped away. Like you don't have to like burn it all down and like rebuild. Not everything has to be that dramatic or that drastic. There could be some more gentle shifts that come in. There's a lot of, this is a shamanic deck, don't get me wrong, but like there's a lot of like envisioning that needs to take place, and maybe that's a part that got forgotten and left behind, and looking at the situation more holistically. How does this fulfill me at this time, emotionally, psychologically, physically, spiritually, emotionally, right? So you have to look at it almost from like a medicine wheel lens is actually how I'm seeing it. It's like this is a wheel, but it's like quadrants. It's like, how do I feel fulfilled in these ways? That's kind of what is being asked of you. And there seems to be this strong message that you need to hear around stop being so this or that. So this or that. Does it have to be this or that? Or can there be some tweaking involved? And I have to say, the thing that keeps coming up around this too is like around lifestyle and quality of life. Quality of life is really big. And that's where that holistic kind of lens comes in. Like you can't really make decisions that propel you forward in your quality of life without considering all the different aspects of how this impacts you. There's also a reference that Spirit's giving me around, maybe not involving people who are impacted by your decision in the decision making process, feeling like you have to do it in isolation and alone. Now this comes up a lot in my readings and a lot of the channeling that's coming lately. I feel like collectively, I'm feeling like we are in a really big time and a big year of having to make some really big decisions. I mean, of course, it's an election year. We're leading into an election year in Canada. It's election year in the States. There's choices and decisions that have to be made there. And I'm using that as an example because that's probably the most blatant and, biggest example we have in 2024 around this. But Spirit is saying that there are a lot of micro decisions that you're also making at that familial and personal level. And that's going to be a big theme of this year and of the rest of the year. They're taking me into December with this. You're going to have to be making these constant changes and these constant decisions. And, I know for myself, anyone who's been listening to my podcast for years knows, like in the past year, I've mentioned how I know that I have signs of burnout. Oh, I don't know how that happens or why that happens, or how to turn that off, but that's what happens. I know that I have hit a level of burnout in my human when I have a hard time making decisions, because typically I'm very decisive. So there is this message around being more inclusive with the people who really do support you, with the people who have supported you up until this time, with almost like your human council. It's almost like they want you to build a little bit of consensus around this. But in the end, it is only you that makes the decision. But if you do find yourself with that decision fatigue and like racking your brain and like going into circles with it, it's this patience and this making it sacred and journeying, which, when I was in the shamanic immersion program, she would just like beat the drum to like a very constant rhythm, and we would journey to usually go meet an animal guide of some kind. So it'll be interesting to see if an animal comes up. Of course it did. Next card. A shapeshifter. Look at that. And we got eagle, we got wolf here. And I believe mountain lion as well, and snake. Look at that. Of course, animals came up, because what we would do is we would journey to the underworld, if you will, the lower realms. We would go through a route in the tree, which as a medium was always really tricky for me, because I like going up to the angels and like up to the heavens. And when I was doing shamanic studies, it was very different. And we would always go meet like animalkin and receive wisdom from animals, and animals have a lot of teachings to us. So Spirit is coming in saying that if you do go into a journey, or if you're not able to get to that point to get into a journey because you're just too stimulated by life, then go out into nature and just go pay attention to the qualities of the animal people, the winged ones, the four-legged, the swimming ones, and really pay attention to their qualities. And each one of them have unique teachings and unique lessons. So this is a big message for you here. And the shapeshifter is very important as well, because they're making me feel like everything that you're working towards right now, you're putting such a high level of importance on it that it's like do or die. And it's not do or die. They want you to shift your perspective on that a little bit. It's not do or die. You can't screw this up. Like, you are literally going to end up where they need you to be. It's just more important that the journey to get you there is one of wisdom and growth. And we don't get the same wisdom and growth from ease and flow that we do when we are faced with resistance and we overcome this resistance. So whatever it is that you are going through in this time right now is telling you that there is lessons weaved within every single moment of what it is that you are working towards and working and letting go. Yeah, that's what they make me feel. And there's Spirit Fox that just popped up as well. I am not a shuffler. You will notice that about me. I have tiny hands, and I just don't shuffle. Okay, so the card that popped out was Spirit Fox. So we have another. Oh, this is coming in on. We have another animal here, but I don't know if somebody recently accused you, or you're worried about being accused of being sneaky, or it feels like almost like there's like somebody who took your idea, or you had an idea and then you saw it out there in the world and you felt like you couldn't pursue it. It's okay. There's nothing sneaky going on, and there's nothing sneaky about it. Spirit is inspiring us all, and there's themes out there in the world, and it doesn't mean that you have to put blinders on. It doesn't mean that you are replicating what you have been inspired by, and it doesn't mean that other people have replicated what they have been inspired by you. We're in a very inspiring time for many of us. Obviously, the world is also crap right now, but the dualities exist absolutely everywhere. And something's coming up, and this feels very specific. So if it's for you, please comment below. But someone's making me feel like you put something back on a shelf because someone else already did it. And the truth is, like, everything's already been done before almost, you know what I mean? Like, innovation is actually quite unique. And I know that when I first started my podcast in 2018 about mediumship development, you know, there were some really internationally known, well-known teachers out there, maybe not in the podcast world as much, but some really great teachings out there. And I had this, who am I to talk about this when somebody else is already talking about it so well? There's something like that going on for you, and like this just is a reminder to you that hasn't been said by you, it hasn't been done by you, and the different people are watching you than are watching other people, and so you still are going to be put to service. And there is actually a hidden, almost like a, not hidden, but a multifaceted teaching here, because you're also going to be working through some wounds around humility around this as well. Yeah, it's like, you know, whatever it is that you're pressed by or you're feeling like really sensitive by, that's asking to come up to be healed. So again, you can transform that. So what I'm drawn to reading on this card is about trust, right? So trust was actually a big thing in one of my more recent videos as well. But you've already gotten yourself so far. Like, look how much you've already overcome. Like, look at the odds you have beaten. Look at the ancestral healing you have done, they're wanting me to say. Like, give yourself some credit. Like, cut yourself some slack and, like, lean into, I have made good decisions before. I have taken chances that have worked out, and I've overcome things that didn't pan out as well. And, like, I can trust myself. So stop treating things like they're completely black or white or all of this and that. Give yourself some inspiration, some movement, some nature, some time and space to get clear. Make it sacred. These are the messages that Spirit's really kind of bringing in. So hopefully you got something out of this time that we spent together. Hopefully you leave this session feeling a little bit more clear on when you came in. And I hope you have a wonderful day ahead. We'll see you next time.